So she was like, okay, well, I'll do this. I'll order you new labs. Only if you agree to go on medication, if your antibodies are still the same or worse. And I said, okay. I agreed. I said, I will try medication again. If my antibodies haven't gone down, I'll go back. So she ordered the test. And I remember leaving the office feeling really scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I just gave my word that I was going to go back on medication and I don't want to, but I need my labs taken. But I knew I was better. I can see it. It was reflecting on my weight, on my vitals. It was reflecting in how I felt. So there's a lot of, the spiritual journey and my faith journey was coinciding at the same time with my health journey.
And it's been I think it's been about a week or so, and I've passed the, reaction stage.
Yeah.
I would have reacted by now. No reaction. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Had milk, but it's not ultra processed. If you're eating good things, your body says, thank you. You won't react to it. You'll feel good. So that's eating good goes a long way. Do not minimize that. Do not minimize how far eating well goes to you with autoimmune disease.
Healing Graves holistically, there's not much out there at all. We're kind of in this unknown territory. So we're inviting you guys into our personal journey. We may not know all the answer, but guess what? We're going to try to figure it out as much as we can.
Hello, my name is Meron and I'm based in the UK and I'm the founder of Loving Me Kindly.
And my name is Priscilla and I'm based in the United States and I am the founder of Healing Unapologetically.
Together we are co-hosting our podcast, Thyroid Sisters Navigate Graves' Disease. Over the last few years, since being diagnosed with Graves' disease, we have fought to gain our lives back and are both living medication-free.
We are not medical experts. However, through our experience of dealing with this disease, we have learned so much and want to share our journey of healing and self-discovery.
We have come to realize that trusting our instincts and intuition has helped us lead healthier lives, and our goal with these podcasts is to empower and inspire you.
Hello, welcome to our podcast, Thyroid Sisters Navigate Graves' Disease podcast. We are recording part 2 of our first episode, which is expectations and perspective. We're analyzing those two and how they apply to the health journey.
Season 2,
yeah. For season, did I say season 2 or season 1? I'm a little stuffy, maybe from allergies. I feel like my voice sounds a little.
Is
like
it high where you are? Is it allergy season?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, we just switched from August to September, right? It's a new month. And we were just, I don't know, maybe there's something in the air. We've been doing a lot of housework. So we've been working on our yard. So a lot of times that just kind of lifts up whatever's there on the ground. You know what I mean? So I don't know if I'm dealing with that, but how are you doing?
I'm good. I you know what I wanted to say for season, I just wanted to say something before we begin. That thank you to everybody who is listening. I still see so many people still tuning into season 1 and getting through our meaty episodes, what we term them, meaty episodes. And we're always so grateful, and hopefully please do hit the subscribe and let us know what kind of episode you want us to do that might, it helps us, because this is we always say, it's a sisterhood. We're all just trying to share our journeys. So please let us know and give it 5 stars if you can, because then that shows up for other people. And I wanted to say, bear with us. So obviously when you hear this episode, obviously we've done season 2 and we're ready for it to come out. But thank you for being patient, because I am in the UK, Priscilla is in the US. It is not easy to manage timing and things like that, but we're just working with it, and we're just really relaxed about it, because what else can we do? We have to be. And it's just every time we do talk we're doing now, it's been a while, so we're going to catch up. And it's so nice to catch up, because what we do is exchange voice notes with each other on WhatsApp, which is nice, but it's lovely to see you.
I know. Have that face
So
to
it's nice
face.
to catch up. Yeah, and have that face to face. So that's, yeah, so bear with us, and yeah, looking forward to season 2, and looking forward to this specific episode. Episode 1 for season 2 was really, really good. It's nice to start off with perspectives and now expectations, which is going to be a really interesting one to dissect, because maybe we'll have different approaches to it. Or we'll bring two different sides of what it's like. So this could impact somebody who's just been diagnosed, and we're going to talk about what kind of things that they can expect along the journey. I always say this, I wish I had heard this before, so many years ago. Would have helped me kind of navigate it. And it might help somebody who's already in it, where they'll feel validated or reassured about what they've been going through. So yeah, let's see.
That's really interesting that you said for anybody that's been recently diagnosed, because I feel like on a subconscious level, that's how I've been approaching this podcast. I've been really coming from a place of, okay, if I had to do my journey all over again, my health journey, like what would I tell myself to focus on immediately, or tell someone who was recently diagnosed? So
Exactly.
this approach might sound very different than what you're hearing from other wellness influencers or other people who are giving tips. I feel like a lot of people in the health realm are very specific with information, which is very helpful. Like whether it's diet, toxins, traumas, they have a niche and they focus on it. I feel like my approach to this is not about a niche, but it's more about like the individual discovering they have like an autoimmune disease, and it's a lot to cope with. And it's kind of, and I'm trying to give you like light a path to the direction you need to go, and not feel so overwhelmed with constantly trying to make changes, right away, or trying to find that one specific information for your health journey. Sometimes you just have to do what we're talking about today, and you have to look at your perspectives, and you have to look at your expectation. Because I truly believe that if you don't do this, you're going to set yourself up to feeling very dissatisfied in your health journey or disappointed. And a lot of what I'm sharing is from my personal experience, and also from many, many men and women who have reached out to me within the past 5 years, sharing their stories with me. And this is something that I see a lot. It is I'm feeling helpless, like, because I was already expecting to see X, Y, and Z, and it hasn't happened. I've been doing this now for 2 weeks or 2 months, or, there's always this expectation that people present to me, and they're feeling completely disappointed because it didn't occur. So this is the angle that I'm coming from, and why I feel like it's very important to speak about expectations and perspective, because it's a hidden, what's the word? Like something that you trip on in your health journey, like a stepping stone that you can trip on if you don't acknowledge it. So
that's so true. Absolutely true. We're coming from a supportive angle. We're just like that place and space that you can go to just get that support. We're not necessarily telling people what to do and how to do it. That's not definitely what we're doing, but we're sharing our experiences, and it helps me because I'm in it. I'm still in that stage, and listening back to season 1, sometimes I can't tell you. I just can't believe like how much our own voices is helping me again. Like I listen to those episodes whenever I feel a bit, I'm in that lost phase sometimes, and then it's just like that reminder, and helps me get back on course. So we hope that this is what it's doing for you as well. And like you said, yes, expectations, because I think that one of the things that definitely that everybody must go through is that feeling of almost, it's not even it's like despair. Like it's a dark place. It's a dark place when you feel like you're so lost and so alone. Um and when you're trying something, because you get I guess we're going into it, because you get so excited, not excited, but you're hopeful about this thing. Okay, this is going to work for me. Maybe if I remove gluten, then I'm going to be restored. That's that feeling of trying to constantly find that one thing to heal yourself. And then when it doesn't work, you fall into that despair, that pit. And then to climb out of that is so hard. It's so hard. And I think it's that that being stuck in that pit is a horrible place to be. It takes so much because you already have that chronic fatigue. You already don't even have that energy to fight for yourself. And you did it. You tried something, and then you realized that no, it didn't really work. So to climb back out of that valley, that pit, whatever it is really hard. And hopefully by listening to this, it might help all of us just to remember what kind of things that you can expect, because it's like daily management. That's essentially what you need to do when you have an autoimmune. It's about daily management. Actually, it's even almost like hour by hour management, because you can feel good one moment and then you can feel completely exhausted and wiped out the next. And it's so constant. It's not something where you feel positives throughout the week. It's not a weekly thing. It's literally an hourly thing. So in order, you need to have good management of your expectations and perspectives in order to make it through the day. So that's where we're coming from, I think.
Nice. Oh yeah. And I know I got to listen to a little bit of our first part. After we recorded it, I was trying to make sure everything was smooth. And I've realized that I started my story not with perspective, but with expectation. So I remember saying I was going to my doctor's office and I was expecting, hey, here's an ointment, here's a pill, and you're going to feel better. So I like caught myself. I was like, oh, wait a minute. I think it's a very natural and just humanly thing to just go in with expectations. We never are going in thinking, the worst case scenario. I mean, maybe for some they do, but I think the majority of us don't really know how to assess our symptoms before we're being diagnosed. I don't think we understand how severe it potentially is. I wasn't thinking I was going to be told I had an autoimmune disease. So I feel like a lot of people kind of get hit with that like shock of, oh, this isn't just something I can take like medicine for and then it'll go away. You're telling me I have something for life. So I think there's a lot of expectation walking into a doctor's office. So yeah, I wanted to clear that up, because if you're hearing the first episode, I kind of mixed those two, and I've realized that it was from having that experience of high expectations and being knocked down. It made me have to look at my perspectives. And my perspective is when you're looking at your perspective, you're collecting data. And I realized that is exactly what I based my health journey on, constantly collecting data. I wasn't concerning myself with expectations. I was just collecting data on myself and my health history, data with my current labs I was getting done with my endocrinologist, and data as far as research and stuff research that I was running into or reading up on. And that's when I discovered Dr. Bergman and Dr. Axe and Dr. Berg, all these doctors, and Dr. Berg. And I was starting to see a trend. So I was on a mission, and it was literally collecting data, because data gives you your perspective. And that's when I realized, like, I have a lot of underlying health issues. I don't just have thyroid issues. I have gut issues. I have sinus issues. I was overweight. I had, I think this were probably my top. Oh, I had candida overgrowth because of the antibiotics that I was prescribed 3 years in a row. So there were a lot of underlying health issues that I realized I was dealing with outside of just Graves' disease. And that's when my health journey literally transformed, because I wasn't getting fixated with my thyroid anymore. I was getting fixated with just getting well and doing what I can on improving my overall health, and then seeing how that impacts my thyroid. But it was all like from collecting data. let's just collect data. I make this change. Okay, I know I'm going to have labs taken out in 3 months. Let's see how that reflects. Or I know I'm going to see my endocrinologist next month. Oh, my vitals are improving. My blood pressure was improving. I was losing weight. That's more data. What is that telling me? That's telling me that my approach of whole body health was helping me little by little get well. And then it transformed to all of a sudden my thyroid labs were improving. So yeah, that's kind of like a quick sum up of how I realized that the focus should always be on perspective, getting the data and expectations. Yeah, it's okay to have expectations, but don't place everything on just expectations. Like, I'm expecting if I do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to get this results. Because you have to realize, I know I'm going off real quick, but I want to share that an autoimmune disease, the cause of it are unknown. Okay. If you were to go to any conventional doctor, they're going to tell you, we don't know why your body is attacking healthy tissue. Okay. But this is how we are going to approach it. If you go to functional doctors, depending on, what type of functional, not what type, but depending on their experience, most of them know that it's going to be a gut issue or like Dr. Bergman, his approach is it's a physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. All of those are out of balance and you need to reduce them. That's what I did. And, but even then no one's going to tell you specifically what caused your autoimmune disease. No functional doctor and no conventional doctor can tell you exactly why your body is attacking healthy cell tissues. Okay. So you have to realize that there's no answers. So you're starting your journey to discover those answers for yourself. And every individual, it's going to look slightly different. We're going to have similar patterns, but our root causes can be very different. So that is kind of, I feel like, the perspective of going in and starting this health journey, so you don't feel helpless, because it's not just you, it's every individual who has an autoimmune disease. They're going to have what am I trying to say? Like, they're going to have unanswered questions to why. We all have unanswered questions to why. So I wouldn't get fixated on, why is this happening to me? Why am I not getting these results? Why? I wouldn't get fixated with that, because it's a big question mark in the medical industry, and for every individual. Instead, focus on your perspective and doing your health history and road mapping your physical, chemical, and emotional stressors that you've experienced in your life up until your diagnosis. See the pattern, listen to season 1, because that's all we focus on. Have that, because that's going to give you data, and that's going to give you the best information for you to base your health journey and like which direction to go.
Yeah, I
Right?
think you nailed it on so many levels. Let me start with what you said, that it actually starts with the expectation. That's the first thing. The first thing is the expectation, and after that, the perspective comes, and it's the biggest drop for everybody. That's when you fall off the cliff, literally. And you're blindsided. You don't even know. It's like the doctor's words go push. You don't even know you're at the edge of the cliff.
That's
And
so true.
those words of, okay, I'm here. Finally, I have an answer. Why I've been going for all these things. So you're feeling happy that you finally know the answer to this thing. But then the thing doesn't have an answer in itself. It just doesn't even make any sense. And you're so used to, especially if you're diagnosed young, you don't have that experience yet to know that, I don't know what the word is, that life can be so freaking hard. Like, it can be so. I think I don't think I mean, I had a tough life, but I still didn't realize that it can be that. Like, when you're young, you take it for granted that you're young and you have that health. and you think that happens to you later on, that you don't really think about that unless you've been, unfortunately diagnosed from a young age with certain things and struggled. You just don't generally think you're going to have something. And then for them to tell you when you're already young and you have, God willing, like life in front of you, for them to tell you have a disease, we can't fix it, and it's chronic, and you're gonna have it for, it's like a life sentence. So that expectation of finding an answer is the biggest drop, and it's that dark. That's the first bit to climb out of, is really hard, because then you start looking for answers. Maybe you start thinking, why me? And you go down sort of like thinking patterns that don't help you. But the way you said it, that you had the expectation and then afterwards your perspective was to collect data, you literally simplified it. That's such a simplified, that you really simplified that very complex, messy, emotional place, because it's like, right, roll the sleeves up. Okay. It's almost like you're taking a step out of the situation, which can be helpful. When you're in let's say a negative argument and you're just going round and round in circles, sometimes when you remove yourself out and then have time to think about it and look in, from an outer perspective, it makes sense. So you remove yourself by saying that you want to collect data about yourself. You're removing yourself, you're just this observer of what's going on. And I think that's a healthy way to be, because what I did was be so emotionally reactive to everything, and I think that made me literally spiral deeper and deeper into like a darker place. I think it's really amazing that you already just literally rolled your sleeves and was like, yeah, let's see what I can do. Okay, this isn't working, this is working, I'm learning this. It took like I always keep saying it a million times, it took a phlebotomist who helped me change my perspective, because I was so in that negative space. And she was like, value in the valley, and that changed that perspective for me. Okay, so what can I learn about myself? Wow, what are the things that I've been doing that haven't been helping me? Oh, this is this. I mean, really and truly, it's hard to say it, but this is a really hard pill to swallow. But unfortunately, having the Graves' disease helped me to change for the better, because I was not advocating for myself. I never looked after myself. I was more give. Never putting time aside for me. I thought it was selfish. I had just like quite suppressed emotions, swallowing what people, rather than speaking out. It's quite interesting that it's a thyroid that's attacked, because I never used my voice. And now I'm a completely different person. I do not I always advocate for myself. It's a lot of it is about advocating for yourself. And it was an opportunity. So my perspective shift of seeing it in that way. What is this here to teach me? Because I'm telling you, the other way of thinking is not going to help you. You are not going anywhere. Of course, we're human and we feel those emotions, and it's horrible and it's bad. And we obviously want to think, why is this happening to me? What did I do? Why? What you see other people are healthy, young people, and why am I suffering? It doesn't help you. If you can find that perspective shift, if you could do what Priscilla did, which is roll up my sleeves, let's collect some data about myself or with me. I think I focused more on my emotional stressors. That was my focus. Then that will lessen this difficult journey for you and simplify it. So that you really hit it with that. You really nailed it there, and I hope that's just what I thought when you were explaining that. There's other things that you said, actually, that there's so much. It's just my brain just goes all the clock stuff. It's just so much.
I was just like,
so many levels.
Realizing it for myself, like, wait a minute, like I even when we're recording the episode, I was like, I got it mixed. I started off with expectation. I discovered perspective later, that it was important to have perspective. So it's a very, like what you're describing, feeling your emotions and is one thing, and acknowledging how you feel is one thing, but allowing your emotions to consume yourself and to lead you in every decision making is not going to benefit you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always see it as if it would, which one, what did I use? It's like a, you have to have reason, intuition, and informed consent. I feel like when those three line up to the best that you can, you know, with the information and data that you have, then you're most likely are making the best decision for yourself. So
What
it's
do you
not
mean
just an
by that?
emotional decision. Okay. So like,
What's
let's say
reason?
reason, I would say data. I mean, I would say like, the treatment options. Okay. These are the treatment options. This is what I can do. And this is what I can't. Informed consent would be, what are the risks associated to those treatments, right? And then you have your intuition. What is your gut telling you? And when you can align those three together, I feel like you're making the best informed consent decision, because you're weighing the pros and cons of each treatment options. Like for me, it was, what would happen to me if I don't take medication right now? Nothing was like, it was like, okay, I'm feeling fine because I'm working on lifestyle. I'm seeing slow improvements. So great. My Graves' disease wasn't worsening, which is what my endocrinologist is advocating for, right? She wants to treat me because she's trying to prevent something from happening, but it wasn't happening. So my intuition was saying, okay, or reason was telling me I have Graves' disease. Symptoms have slowed down. They're not getting worse. My labs aren't getting worse. They're slowly improving. So this scenario that my endocrinologist is painting is not currently happened. It's just a what if. And she was trying to eliminate any risks, but that's not my current situation. So that's reason. Okay. That's how I was reasoning my health journey, and reasoning and using reason to help me, you know, choose a natural holistic approach, because I was looking at my labs. I have people who message me and they want to tell me that they want to literally say, I want to quit working with my endocrinologist and I just want to do it naturally. And I literally take a step back and say that, I mean, I get it, because it's very frustrating, but that is not the answer. It wasn't the answer for me. I just had an HMO planned. I still went and saw my doctor, and I said, there's a lot of benefit, because autoimmune diseases they're like waves. They can flare, they can go down, they can worsen. We don't know. And even though my experience had a certain outcome, every individual needs to be mindful of their specific autoimmune disease and Graves' disease and how it flares. And there's a lot of nuances that contribute to that. So it's two different scenarios. So I always encourage everybody to work with an endocrinologist, because they are ordering your labs, which are going to be reflecting your current thyroid health, the current state of your thyroid health. And if you're implementing lifestyle changes, you need to be seeing those labs. You need to be seeing your doctor, and you need to be getting tested. And because sometimes, what if you're implementing something that could potentially be causing more harm than good, and you don't know? And you get your labs to see, or you're getting your vitals checked, and you're seeing maybe your heart rate is going up, or it's just important to see a doctor. It's not based out of fear. If you can see a integrative doctor or functional doctor because you want someone to support you with the implementing holistic practices, then that's the best way to go. You're not going to find that with an HMO doctor unless they they themselves personally, believe in that, or they bring it up to you. It's a lot harder to find an integrative doctor on an HMO plan. But that's why I always advocate for the individual, the patient, making safe lifestyle changes while under the care of a doctor. But I feel like I kind of went sidetracked here. Oh, so I was always basing my decisions off of my labs, which I was getting done through my doctor, with the lifestyle changes that I was making, and informed consent, understanding the risks of what it meant to either go on medication or do radioactive iodine, or to not do it. So I had to analyze those 3 risks, and I picked the one that to me had the least weight, the least risks. And it was to keep my thyroid and to continue with the healthy habits and lifestyle that I was learning, and I was making changes. So that's what I've been continually doing and upkeeping, and it's been, it's been working.
Mm.
Kind of makes sense because I feel like I got
Yeah, of
sidetracked.
course.
So
It always makes sense. You always make sense, Priscilla. Trust me. I think the way you did it was a very brave way to do it, because because you don't, when it happens to you, you obviously you're going from 0 to 100. First of all, okay, thyroid. I think I've studied it at school at some point. I know there's a thyroid there, but I don't really know what it does. So when they tell you, yeah, you've got a problem with your thyroid, and it's actually the thing that um regulates your entire body. It's like, whoa, okay, this thing is it's like the most important part of my body, and you're telling me that there's something wrong with it. So you're coming from a place that you don't know anything, and then you trust the experts, you trust the doctors to know what's best for you. But so what you did was very brave and very empowered to be like, to again take a step back, very good at doing, and saying what's the best thing for me. And no, I remember you said that when they told you about one of the options of removing the thyroid, you held like your thyroid and was like, no,
yeah.
I don't want them to do that. So you really came from a space of like saving yourself, empowered, advocating, and it's maybe, I don't know how many people out there do that, because you're so confused. And it depends at what state you're diagnosed, because I was in the hospital going through all the symptoms, like the
You had a
my
thyroid storm.
tachycardia. I was in a
Mhm.
thyroid storm. So whatever the doctor says, I'm going to listen to him. Thank
You
God
have
it
to.
wasn't the option of removing the thyroid, because I think I would have been, I don't know. I don't know how I would have reacted to that. But it was medication for me anyway. But I think the most important thing to do, if you're listening, is to educate yourself. Just be as knowledgeable as you can be, so that you can you can do this journey with the doctor, but at least you're coming from a more self-informed place, and it's not someone telling you what to do. Because I've heard people tell me that it's just regret. They regret doing this decision that was made, like to remove the thyroid. I've read forums where people are completely happy.
Yeah.
It's different for everybody. But
Mhm.
I think if they had if they knew what it meant, if they had the education of, okay, what are the implications of this, and maybe they might not have done it. But that, to
Mhm.
have that regret, to have something removed out from you that you can't have it back again, is huge. So really educate yourself, collect the data, and
Mhm.
learn about what is thyroid. I didn't know what TSH was. I remember when I was diagnosed, I saw a lot of forums, because you go to forums. I don't know if you did that, but you go online, and it's like
Mhm.
people are talking about their TSH is this, and their this is that, and their T4. I was like, what is TSH? What is T4? What does that mean? So if a doctor came to me and showed me my results, I'd be like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know what that means. What does
Yeah.
that mean? So you're coming from zero, and it's just so much to take in. But the little thing you can do is do the reading. um Maybe not forums, because that's different. It's like quite emotionally charged places, and it's,
Mhm.
I would say, do like just read books and on what does the thyroid do, learning about your human body, learning about anatomy and physiology and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Just to
Yes.
understand
Yeah.
how your body works a little bit, so that again you're coming from that informed place. So very brave of you to already
Mhm.
know that, to advocate for yourself. Yeah.
It was a scary process, and I always say that I was triggered like fight or flight. You know what I mean? It was like a moment
Mm,
of I it was like I need to survive. This is like the quality of my life. This is a big decision, and it
mm.
completely like made me use all of my senses. And yeah,
And your
I always
intuition.
yeah, my intuition, and I always say that it was a faith-based um
Mm-hmm.
question that triggered me
Mm-hmm.
because I am I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus, and when I when I was told that the removal of my thyroid, literally the reason why I first of all, I hugged my thyroid because I've never had any surgery in my life up to that point. I never had a broken finger. So it seemed so radical to be told we're going to like remove your thyroid or obliterate it. I was just like, huh? Like I've never even broken a pinky, and something that I'm barely learning about. You're telling me it's not good, or we're going to have to get rid of it. So my mind then went to, but wait a minute, God designed this body to function very specifically. So this thyroid gland, even though it seems so small, it has to have a purpose for me. And how would life look like if I don't have one? God made my body, it designed it with a thyroid gland because it's important. So it was literally my faith in God that made me realize like, hold on, the thyroid gland is an important gland. It's important to the body. And that's what sparked my interest. Like, well, what does the thyroid do? And what can I do to improve my outcome, my health, so that I can, not remove it or not get the radioactive iodine. So yeah, it's important to.
Levothyroxine? Sorry.
What was that?
Did you take levothyroxine?
I took methimazole. Is that the same thing?
Is that the equivalent? I don't think so.
Methimazole is an anti-thyroid medication, but I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the what's it called? I don't know what the brand name is. I know it goes by another name too.
Is it thyroid replacement meds? Because
No,
that's
it's
what
supposed to
levothyroxine is.
inhibit. I think it's supposed to. Let me think. So I was producing I had a low TSH because I wasn't producing any more thyroid hormone because my body was saying I have too much, right? So I don't know if it helps if methimazole helps blocks something.
Because if they said to you, if you didn't want the surgery, but then they offered, I was just curious. So which path did you choose in the end? I know you took methimazole, but I wasn't.
I took the first thing was the first thing that was offered was medication, and then so it was methimazole, and then but even when I said, yeah, I want to try methimazole, my doctor was still prepping me for radioactive iodine. She was just telling me eventually you would still need to do this because Graves' disease can come and go. And when you're pregnant, she gave me this whole spiel about being, a woman in, which I always get confused. What's this? How does she would say
Geriatric?
A woman of childbearing age.
Oh, sorry, childbearing age.
So she's like, because you're a woman of childbearing age, we recommend eventually you would need to do radioactive iodine. And she would always, every single time I would see her, she's like, are you sure you're not pregnant? Are you pregnant? Are you sure? And I'm just like, girl, man, you don't even know.
I would know. Yeah, basically.
You don't even get me going. No, I'm not pregnant. You have to stop. Stop. And stop referring to me as women of childbearing age. I'm just
like pressure.
I was 33, at that time. But it was just like every single time she was like, are you sure you're not pregnant? I'm just like, it was appalling.
I got that too. No, I got that too. They must do that to everybody. I just didn't have to answer it a million times the same way.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And even when, so her goal, this is, she specialized in radioactive iodine treatment. So that was her specialty. So I think eventually she was going to want to push me to do the radioactive iodine, even if medication, did help. For me, I got a severe reaction. If you haven't heard my story, I was on methimazole for a week and a half, maybe 2 at the most. And I got a severe reaction to it. So I stopped. And after that also gave me a lot of perspective, talking about collecting data. And I realized, holy crap, medication is not like easy. That was my first time trying medication. So, it's just like, like you hear everybody taking prescriptions, right? And I never hear people having a severe reaction. You hear it as a distant, like a potential side effect, but it just seems distant, like a one-off. Like that's not going to happen to me. So when it happened to me, it really like opened my eyes to the reality of the situation, to the medication. Medication is not gentle, it's very harsh. It's very toxic to the liver. So so taking medication, there's compensation. Okay. You take the methimazole. Let's say you have a good reaction. Your thyroid is good, but you can't take it for too long because then it will start damaging your liver. So the doctors do not want you on medication. I believe anywhere no longer than like 18 months. Okay. So that, anyways, but let me look. I looked something up about methimazole. It's okay. Methimazole works by inhibiting the production of thyroid hormones in the thyroid gland. It helps to lower levels of thyroid hormones in the bloodstream, because that's why we're being diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, because the body is saying there's too much thyroid hormones in the bloodstream. So I have to shut off the thyroid stimulating hormone, which is TSH. Okay. The body says no more TSH. So that's why when you go and you get diagnosed, they tell you, your TSH is undetectable. You have hyperthyroidism, because your body has shut down that production of it, because your body is detecting a lot of thyroid hormones already in your bloodstream. So methimazole helps by inhibiting the production.
So is that what the doctors told you? I don't remember them saying anything about THC.
No, they did not tell me it like that.
They did not tell me that.
I know my general doctor like drew a picture and he was like explaining it a little bit. Yeah, I think he tried, because I do remember him saying something about, okay, you have too much thyroid hormones. Your excuse me, your thyroid, your pituitary gland is the one that sends the TSH to your thyroid gland. So that communication stops because it's detecting too much thyroid hormone in your system. But yeah, I mean, but like honestly, I can't really remember
answers that doesn't help you. There's no. I think if they did draw a picture for everybody, it would help. Just because it's so complex, it's very complex. If they could say, like I didn't know there's a connection. I did the research myself to find that out. But it would help if they just gave you just like a 5 pointers. It would benefit you to avoid gluten. You don't have to do this, but it help you kind of have a little bit of a map.
And
It would help you to understand this and this. It just give you 5 pointers or 4 or 3 or 2 or 1 pointer, so that when you walk away, you have at least some kind of clarity on something, but you just walk out so confused and it doesn't help.
I do recommend, and I wish I would have done this, because I did get the radioactive X-ray exam. So in order for them to take an X-ray of your thyroid, you have to take a little bit of active iodine so it can show up. But I remember seeing so many brochures like up against the wall in a little like slot-like caddy thing. And I remember instinctively wanting to go and grab them because it was on radioactive iodine treatment and all these things. But I'm like sitting and waiting for the doctor to come in. And again, I feel like we talked about the emotional profile of autoimmune disease patient. And I'm just like, I'm so scared. I have to do exactly what I'm being told. I have to sit here, and I'm like looking at those brochures, like, but I really want one. But what if the doctor walks in and I'm like, over exaggerating the simplicity of the situation. I could have just walked over and grabbed some. Anyways, so the doctor comes in.
Suppressed emotions. Suppressing your emotions. You want to just grab something, but you suppress it. You want to do what you're told. Yeah, I get that.
Do what you're told. I do feel like we are individuals that are just more sensitive, quiet, sensitive. Certain things, like, anyways. The doctor came and explained things, and I never grabbed the brochures, but I was hoping to grab them. So if you are at your doctor's office, grab the brochures. There is so much information there. And I mean, I'm surprised the doctors are not even giving it to you. Like,
That is
here's a
weird,
stack
isn't
of
it?
information. You know, I never got anything from
Yeah,
my
why do they
doctor.
want to?
You know what I
I don't
got?
know. What did you get? There is no brochures on my end anyway. I didn't see any here in the UK, so I don't know about that.
So because I'm on an HMO plan, there's very specific, like protocols that the doctor has to follow, right? Because they have to claim the insurance, right,
Oh,
for
okay.
my visits and stuff like that. So, anyways, because I was overweight and I was coming in, and whenever they would do my vitals here in America, they weigh you, they check your blood pressure. So I was overweight, my blood pressure was always high, but I have white coat syndrome. My blood pressure is always high, and I hate the machine.
Really?
Oh yeah, it just makes it. Whenever I'm at a doctor's office, it just goes extra high. And so I'm always having to explain that, and then I'm having to tell them, "Can you please take my blood pressure manually because I want to avoid the machine. It makes me more stressed." Anyways, at the end of that checkup with the nurse, she had to give me a printout, like a printout on like this would be their lifestyle approach. Like, here's something that you can do at home for your health. So she would print out an article on why it was important to lose weight and exercising.
Oh,
Okay, so
oh,
I
so
was
that they gave you.
so I remember being handed like this paper on like why it's important, like stuff I already know, you know, like, duh, I know I'm overweight. You know what I mean? Like, I know. But it was just kind of funny because I'm getting that, but I'm not getting like any pamphlet or like brochures on graves. And
Yeah,
like, that would have been more helpful because, you know, you're talking
goes
about a
hand in
different
hand.
language.
But it's
Yeah.
metabolism. Your metabolism's not working anymore. It's not working properly. Your thyroid's not
Yeah.
working. Your metabolism's not working. So it's not a case of just easily losing the weight. So that's not
Yeah.
helpful, really, for
But the
you.
funny thing too was when my thyroid labs were improving, my doctor asked me, "Well, what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm doing what you're suggesting to lose weight, work on my blood pressure, my food, diet." And she was just like, got really quiet. I said,
Really?
"You know, you remember that little article that the nurse had to print out to tell me? I'm actually doing that, you know." And
Wow.
her face was just like, "Okay, no comment."
She can't comment. They can only
You
keep
know,
it.
because I
They can't
threw
go
it
off
back on,
to
yeah, you know,
diet.
and it's important to make those changes because my doctor gave me a very hard time when we had like a face off. So it came to a point where I was explaining there was small improvements occurring, but my TSH was still undetectable. Okay. And I was losing some weight. My blood pressure was getting better, but my doctor was saying, but your TSH isn't working. It's still low. So therefore, my recommendation is you need to go back on medication. I already knew how the medication felt. I felt on it. She wanted to give me like a different brand or a different type. But at that point, she hadn't rechecked my my antibodies because she was referring to my antibodies. And at that time, I couldn't, you know, there's so much that she's talking in the lingo I don't understand. So she's telling me you need to go back because you have antibodies. Because at this point, my T4 and T3 had stabilized and my TSH was the only thing that was still low. But she was using the excuse that my antibodies were high. Well, I felt uncomfortable because the last time she had tested me for antibodies was back in October of 2017. And we were during this time, it was like February, March. It was like March of 2018. And so I told her, I said, I'm not comfortable going back on medication based on labs that were done like 6 months ago, October, November, December,
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 months ago. And I said, I've made lots of changes in my health. And what got her to agree was because I said, look at my vitals. my weight has gone down and my blood pressure has gone down. So I think it's fair to ask for new test results. And then we made a bet. So she said, okay. She said, well, going off of her experience, she was telling me, well, your antibodies don't go down with easily. They don't even go down within a short period of time. And to her, she was thinking, this is a way short of a time for them to even go down. So she was like, okay, well, I'll do this. I'll order you new labs. Only if you agree to go on medication, if your antibodies are still the same or worse. And I said, okay, I agreed. I said, I will try medication again. If my antibodies haven't gone down, I'll go back. So she ordered the test. And I remember leaving the office feeling really scared because I was like, oh my gosh, I just gave my word that I was going to go back on medication and I don't want to, but I need my labs taken. But I knew I was better. I can see it. It was reflecting on my weight, on my vitals. It was reflecting on how I felt. So there's a lot of, the spiritual journey and my faith journey was coinciding at the same time with my health journey.
Wow.
So we got the labs and my antibodies went down. And she was just like, that's when she asked me, what are you doing?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how is it that you said the emotional profile of somebody with autoimmune, you were scared to get up and take a leaflet, but you went head to head with your doctor? I mean, that is two different things. And maybe, like you said, the faith thing just stepped in, like you just something advocated,
like,
even
that's
maybe
not
for
normally
you.
me.
Nobody,
exactly.
people just sit there quietly because the doctor's going to say, hello, well, who's a doctor, me or you? Nope, I don't want to be on the other end of a doctor saying that to me. Oops, there goes
Yeah,
things
and it
falling
was
down.
a pleasant. No, you're good.
But that's interesting because you're really fighting for yourself from the beginning. On top of everything that you're going through, you really were advocating for yourself.
No, like it was always a pleasant conversation. It was never hostile.
No, yeah, I'm sure it wasn't. Yeah.
I think my doctor appreciated that. I was just wanting answers. It wasn't something against her. And it was just like wanting me to desperately understand why I was sick. I wasn't here to explain why all her other patients about all her other patients or their experience or anything. I was just there for me and me only because that's the only thing I know. And so it was always a pleasant conversation. And I think you're right. I don't know. That doesn't sound like me. And I think that's my faith stepping in and helping me in a situation where I lack the tools to. You know what I mean? Because it was very not like me. It was not like me at all to do that. And I do remember feeling like butterflies in my stomach and nervous.
But it's interesting because you're obviously we are ourselves, and all we know is how can you help me, Meryl, me, Priscilla, when you're in front of the doctors. But they're looking at us as kind of like, it's like a cookie cutter approach with them, isn't it? Like these are the three options on all these. It doesn't even make sense that there is such a set way of treating a person because they don't know about why autoimmune occurs. But we know the reason for that probably is that because we're all individuals with our own individual reason of our chemical, emotional, and physical stresses, right? So nobody's going to have the same journey of autoimmune disease. Everyone is so different. We know that it's different. They know that it's different, but yet they still treat it in one or three categories. And they never look at you as like you as an individual. Just, if they did a health history on us, just 5 minutes might help our journey not be so confusing because they're giving you a cookie cutter approach. Is that the word for it? Cookie cutter approach. You know what I mean? Like a set thing on. It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And I think that's where it just doesn't. It's not a smooth journey. It doesn't work. We're confused. They're trying to force something, but we don't get it because it's not working for us. But yet this is what they're saying are the early options. So I think that's why a lot of people turn to functional medicine because it's like, I feel heard. I feel
Yeah.
seen. I
Mhm.
feel like you're here to help me, and you're not looking at me as like just another patient. It's so nice to have somebody ask you just more details about yourself, or spend that time and not just give you one of three options and make you do it. And that's why I think people do go to functional, but then obviously there's that thing of, I don't know, is there like a battle between functional medicine and traditional medicine? But
Yeah, for
why?
sure. It's a threat.
If it
Functional
works, it
medicine.
works. If it works for you, it works for you. Whichever one works for you. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a threat. I get that.
Mhm.
Mm.
Mhm. I think that there's you know, yeah, you have to realize that your doctor is basing everything off of risks. Okay?
Yeah.
We want to eliminate the greatest risk, and the greatest risk we have of being patients with Graves' disease is the potential thyroid storm and having heart damage, heart attack, and that's when, like, when your heart is racing, and that's when you're having the thyroid storm, and that's when your heart's just out of control. That's the potential risk, and it is life threatening. Does that mean every person with Graves' disease is going to experience that? No, but that risk is always there. That's why your doctors are wanting to eliminate that risk, and they're always going to tell you you need to get a thyroidectomy or a radioactive iodine treatment. They're not going to want you on medication for too long. And even on my last day with my endocrinologist, when my TSH was stabilized, my T3 and T4, everything was normal, she was still recommending me to do the radioactive iodine treatment because she, again, was looking at me of a woman of childbearing age and was telling me pregnancy is going to trigger your Graves. So you don't want to get Graves when you're pregnant. So she was fear mongering me a little bit, right? Um, so they're always going to want to do that because you are more treatable as a hypothyroid patient being pregnant or whatever the circumstances are than you would be a patient who has Graves' disease or hyperthyroidism. It's a lot harder to treat you. The medication is harsher. It's just, yeah, it's
But
different.
it's so what's upsetting for me, what really gets me is that a lot of the doctors don't have any nutritional training. And it's we know food is thy medicine. We know that food goes a long way in terms of
Mhm,
your healing
mhm,
when it comes to these diseases. And when you go to functional, they do it hand in hand. Like, how can you not? How can it just be medication? How can you not then help somebody understand that their lifestyle has implications on their thyroid? If you're just giving somebody medication, then you're just putting a plaster on the issue, and they're just going to continuously have issues for the rest of their life, or be reliant on medication, or
mhm,
just never get themselves out of it. But why can't you, what's wrong with it, the balance of telling somebody, you can take the medication, but also do some walking, make sure you take these vitamins, or or even or do a test to because basically when you have an autoimmune disease, you're pretty much malnourished. You are not, your cells are not
right.
getting the things that it needs in order to function properly. You're a malnourished person. So why don't they do? To me, it just seems obvious, because are you just trying to help us, like, give us crutches? You know
Mhm,
what I mean, like crutches,
mhm,
or are you actually trying to help us walk again? Crutches for life. Who wants to be on crutches for life? Nobody wants that. Are you trying to help us? And if they must know this. The research is there. You're malnourished, so why can't they just do their vitamin test and be like, oh, you're low on these vitamins, try taking this. And obviously you get most of those nutrients from the food that you eat. So if you have an autoimmune disease but you're continuously eating ultra processed food, imagine how malnourished, how much more malnourished you are. What does it
uh,
take for them to just advise a little bit about eating greens or whatever it is? I know it can sound obvious, but I think
mhm,
it can be tailored, because people can be malnourished in different things
mhm.
in their autoimmune journey. So maybe it's specifically you're really low on B vitamins, so maybe take some of this in it, because
Yeah,
I've seen it for myself, the difference of when that's why I'm not on medication. I went
yeah.
down the route of, first of all, traveling and just getting space and rest, just
Mhm,
immense rest. and also eating better. But it's just it really frustrates me so much. Remember I sent you that YouTube, that podcast of that doctor who was sick. It was a sick doctor who himself said that, they don't really get that much nutritional training. So he's a doctor who got sick, and then his mother was telling him, well, and she's not a doctor, but she was telling him, well, try taking this, or try doing that, try doing some meditation, try eating this. And he was listening to his mother, and he realized that, I think he's called the medicine doc. I don't know what food is. I remember him using the term "food is thy medicine." So he changed his health around, and he cured himself of whatever he was having through food. And it's a doctor that got that light bulb moment that, oh wow, this is insane. That this helped me. Something as simple as nutrition. So there's something there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. And one thing that I liked about his story too was he highlighted that any improvement to your diet is an improvement, because I think the host asked him, was it a specific diet? And he just kind of said, no, it was really just making improvements. And that's what I advocate. Like, I know there's a lot of dietary information out there, very helpful stuff. I'm not discouraging you from reading it, but don't feel like you have to find a perfect diet or the one diet to start making changes. Just start now. If you know you're eating sugar, cut it down. If you know you're having, too many carbs or junk food or snacks, and you're not eating, adequate meals and proteins, cut that down. It's about starting where you're at. And this is why have a tendency to project, like we see what somebody else is doing, and then we project that we're in that same scenario. And so maybe if we do what they're doing, it's going to work for us. And that's not the case. Their perspective, what they're doing, especially if you're seeing that online, you're not even seeing a fourth of the reality. Okay. So you cannot go off of those perspectives. Yeah. Is it information? Sure. But that's just about it. You have to have your perspective, your data, your health history. And you need to focus on that. And also recognizing your eating habits, your diet, like how much are you eating? What type of foods are you eating? Is it carb heavy? Is it sugar heavy? Is it, fast food heavy? Like for me, I was eating out all the time, where how my diet looked like, you know what I mean? And I was able to implement other, diet tips that I was learning and hearing about. But, it's all about you.
It's so interesting because it was recently highlighted to me the power of eating food that is good for you, that your body says, yes, thank you for this. The massive difference, because remember I told you I went to Bath recently, and one of the things of having an autoimmune disease is, I read somebody say that having autoimmune disease is having a sad relationship with food. Yes, it can be. I've been going to weddings recently and just literally sitting next to the cake and just looking at the cake and just being literally like so close to the cake, and my husband dragging me back. And, in my head, I'm like, it's okay. I'm happy to go through the flare up just for this cake. But, I know it's not, like, those flare ups are awful. I do not want to, but I've just been it's just sad for me to watch everybody else enjoy something that I loved so much. But I haven't had cake or sugar in years now. Like it's been a couple, like 2 3 years or something like that. And it can be a sad relationship with food. But what is interesting is we went to this cafe in Bath, and everything was locally sourced. It was all locally sourced, and I thought, okay. I said to my husband, I'm going to risk eating this food as an experiment. I was like, now, I don't usually do this anymore because it's almost like self-sabotaging. It's not the case of I know this is going to hurt me, but I'm going to eat it anyway. It wasn't that. It was, I wonder if having something that's so pure and good and locally sourced, is there a difference? I just wanted to see if there was a difference. And because they had on the menu gluten-free cakes, I was like, interesting, because I know gluten really impacts me. It's so bad. I avoid that like the plague. It is not worth going through a gluten flare up. I feel like it's on a different level. I was like, okay, so gluten free, and I feel like it's been made really well. And they had like a chai latte, not with caffeine, I don't do caffeine, but it was local. It was milk that was literally milk that day came to the cafe, and I thought, let me try that because I haven't had milk in such a long time, and I miss milk in my tea. The alternatives are great, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And they brought the chai latte, like my mouth's watering just thinking about it, and I just took my time with. It's like no one else existed to taste that. Like, it's so nice. It was such a thick, creamy milk, and I thought I enjoyed it so much. And then we ordered 2 cakes. My husband videoed it. It is not for anybody to see because I'm just going in on these things, and I am lavishing every single crumb and taste. I haven't had this in so long. Will I or will I not react to this? This is locally produced. The eggs, the butter on the toast, everything was just so rich and so lovely. And I was like, you know what? Even if I do, it's worth it. But I hope not. So the days after, I was saying to my husband, have I reacted today? And then he was like, oh, good. Because he was like worried as well. And it's been like, I think it's been about a week or so. And I've passed the, reaction stage.
Yeah.
I would have reacted by now. No reaction. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I had raw milk, but it's not ultra processed. If you're eating good things, your body says, thank you. You won't react to it. You'll feel good. So that's eating good goes a long way. Do not minimize that. Do not minimize how far eating well goes to you with autoimmune disease. I just couldn't tell people enough. Just make those small changes of avoiding things that that are going to trigger you, because there is no money cannot buy that feeling of just feeling good. Because when you have autoimmune disease, you feel unwell most of the time, and the good days you do have are like few and far between sometimes. But if you're consistently making these good changes, I haven't had a flare up in such a while. I used to message you and send you voice notes that I'm in so much pain, my neck, that to wake up in that pain is so horrible. And by avoiding certain triggers and committing to that, I'm feeling like a normal human again. This morning, I woke up feeling so good. I said to myself, I'm in a good mood. And I did the washing up, I did breakfast, I tidied up. And I said, do you see the difference? I'm my normal self again, because he's used to me being like so fatigued I can't move, and he has to do like maybe more of the washing up and this and all that. And I feel bad about that because this is the nature of autoimmune disease. But I just wanted him to see, I am capable of being like a normal, not that he gives me any pressure, but for myself as well, I want to help out as well. I don't want to feel like I'm constantly ill. Constantly can't even get out of bed. But I saw that I'm constantly doing these good things for myself, and it's showing in my body. Like that's what I just want to keep reiterating, that what you put into your body, it matters. So I just would say, please avoid the ultra processed food as much as you can. Every little change that you make, it takes time though. It takes time, of course. If you're cutting out sugar, it's going to take you time in order to do it completely. And that's an expectation. Don't expect that you can do it all in one. It takes time. It's taken me years for my brain to catch up to understand. That's an expectation that you can't do it all in one go. No, it just takes small changes, and over time you're going to become a healthy person. My husband, he used to eat really processed food, and it used to bother me so much. Like, he would go to those places, you can get like for £1 you can get like a bucket of chicken and chips and all that crap. Oh god. And now when he has it, because we've been eating so well, especially more so with my health journey, we eat like quality 7-star food at home. Like, I want quality stuff for my body. So I think there was a time where he went to eat one of his dodgy foods, and he was like, you know what, I just didn't enjoy it. And I was like, yes. You see, so he's gotten used to it. You get used to treating yourself good. So
Well,
it's really important.
it's interesting that he said that, because one thing that I've noticed since, transitioning from being a girl that was eating fast food daily, diet soda daily, all the bad stuff daily, and then switching to a cleaner, whole food based diet. The biggest difference that I've noticed, if let's say, because here's the thing with the comment that you made that having an autoimmune disease means you have a sad relationship with food. It's not true. You start with making changes, and that's difficult. And yes, change is hard and it can make you feel sad, and you're relearning and it's challenging. So yes, it's sad for a period of time, but then you start to learn what you like, what works for you. And then you start to get into a groove, and then it's not sad anymore. And you get to a point where you can enjoy eating, let's say, a bucket of, I don't know, fried chicken or whatever it is that you feel like, okay, maybe we're out and about and this is our options. I'm just going to get this. The times that I've had like my treat day or a treat meal or something that I normally wouldn't get, I'm shocked how first my lips get like, when you eat something super salty and your lips feel like, I don't know how to describe that sensation, but it's just like pickled, almost like your lips are pickled because there's just so much salt. Like I can't even enjoy what I'm eating anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, my lip is reacting because of all the sodium that's in here. Like I can't, I'm like halfway through a hamburger and I can't. And I'm like, that's it. Or sometimes you forget how sluggish it makes you feel.
Yes, that horrible
and
feeling.
you're just like,
sluggish.
Why? Like
Your
this
body is saying why? Why did you do this? Why are you feeding me this?
Enjoyable. Like I want to eat and go continue doing whatever we need to do. I don't want to eat and feel like I need a break. Like I can't move. I need to sit there. It's just, you start realizing that processed food and fast food is just saturated with a lot of, seed oils, sodium, like table salt, which is sodium and chloride. And your body is just like, it feels heavy. It's not enjoyable to me. So I think that people who are on this lifestyle change and making diet changes continue going through those hardships and those bumps, because you're teaching your body to relearn what real food tastes like. And when you retrain your taste buds, you are shocked how refined sugar is disgustingly sweet. Like I can't believe how sweet white sugar is. Eating out, like if you need to eat out, if I have to get, you start picking like where your safe places are where you can go grab something if you're out and about. But it doesn't appeal to me just to eat out somewhere and order. I don't know. I don't even know how to, like,
I know.
I get it. It's fun it's fun. The idea of not having to worry is what maybe people want to feel like. I don't want to worry about what I'm going to order. But to me, it's not about the being like worried about what not to order. Is you want to make sure your body feels good after you eat whatever meal you're eating out from. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to feel dragged and tired because I ate a meal that was just like so saturated in, I don't know, oils and like salt and just processed. So,
Absolutely.
and then because you've retrained your taste buds are like, ugh, or your body's like, ooh, that is too much. You know what I mean? Like your nose, not that you're flaring. It's just like, it just feels like a brick, like you just ate a big
You
brick.
already feel like a brick. This is the thing. You already feel I mean, I'm talking from us, from the ones who still have the symptoms. Like you really suffer. It is more than just feeling sluggish. I mean, that might be actually a good day because you already feel it costs you the pain, the muscle pain, the brain fog. Everything. It's too costly. It's just too costly. Your body is already just saying to you, give me nutrition, please. It's fighting for you. That's what the fight is. It's that the inflammation, the what it says the body is attacking you from the inside, right? That's what they say when you have autoimmune.
Yeah, it's
But it's not
attacking.
really attacking, it's just trying to fight for you. So if you're adding on top of that more pressure, then you're just going to feel worse. So why not just try and help your body? That's my thing now. So I'm trying to help it. Anything that gives me that relaxation, or instantly makes me feel better, whatever that is, every time I feel like my body's saying, thank you for that, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like a small relief. So small
Yeah.
relief is eating something good for you, right? Or avoiding the triggers that you know you have. So for me, literally avoiding gluten like the plague is the best thing for me, I've noticed. Gives me that much more of a normal life, if that makes sense. And it feels so good. If you get to that point where it feels so good to, you don't want to even want to test like
You're
feeling
not
that
going to
crap
want to go
anymore.
back. Yeah.
You don't want
I
to. It's
think a
not
lot
really
of
worth it, you know?
it's not worth it. And I think a lot of people give up before they get to the peak of their health journey.
Oh, 'cause it's tough.
And, it's very hard work when you're climbing a mountain. It's all uphill. It's hard work. You're getting fatigue. You want to give up. You want, it's hard, but you need to reach that peak, because from there on it's downhill, and all that hard work you did, you're going to enjoy, and you're going to feel super accomplished. You made it to the top, and you have to get there. A lot of people quit before, because it is an autoimmune disease. When you're coming from that starting point, there are a lot of triggers. I always say that it's more than one thing that's triggering the autoimmune disease. So that's why I think a lot of people feel discouraged, because they're thinking, okay, I'm going to make diet changes, because a lot is emphasized on diet, and diet is crucial. But a lot of times it's not the only root cause, right? So people go through making all these diet changes, and then they're like, where's my results? Of course I'm feeling slightly better, and my symptoms seem less flared, but why am I not where I thought I would be by now? And that's why I always, always advocate, you have to look at the physical, chemical, and emotional stressors. It's because there are 3 different categories. They're like a 360 to your environment, and you have to analyze it. And that makes it a little bit harder, because you're having to give up other things. Maybe people feel like they're having to give up other things that they love and enjoy. And at that point, maybe making the changes is too hard or not worth it. I don't know. But this is where you have to weigh out the risks.
It's true, but remember, you can just do little things. That's what I've noticed. Just little things that could be like 5-minute journaling is the emotional stress of 5 minutes, or it could be like, I've noticed that using a massage gun instantly removes those aches and pains. So when I go into work and I come home, sometimes I go flat on the bed, like I can't move.
Yeah.
I'm so shattered. It's taken so much out of me. But my husband bought a massage gun, and I said to him, bless you for this massage gun, because anything that makes you feel, that relieves you when you have an autoimmune, just makes you feel a little bit good, is amazing. So just like 5 minutes using that massage gun just switches you down a little bit. So anything that just switches you down, 5 minutes in your day, whether it's a massage gun, 5 minutes journaling, eating well that day, drinking enough water. These take like 1 or 2 minutes, if that makes sense. Goes a long way. Just keep doing those things, and then you can add things later, like going to the gym. That can be quite taxing in the beginning. Do the little things first.
I hope that if you're listening to our podcast, I feel like Maren and I, our approach is, we'd like to kind of linger on a topic, but we definitely just are conversating, and we like to just embrace the moment and whatever it is that we're going through too. Because I feel like you were sharing a lot about your recent weekend getaway, and just trying gluten-free, clean eating, and how that felt. I feel like it's so important to be flexible with yourself like that, and make make time for those moments of getaways when you can do it. It's
Digital
so much
detox.
more. Yeah. I
That
think
was
it's
huge.
like a mental detox. Sometimes you need to take a mental break from your day to day, and literally you need to get yourself outside of your normal environment, and just enjoy whatever that that plan is and don't worry about home and everything that environment, holds, work, whatever it is. So that's really good that you did that. And
It's 'cause home is safe. When you have an autoimmune and you have to go to I'm always telling you voice notes saying, I don't have the energy, but I've been invited to a wedding. I don't have the energy, but I've been invited to this, or I've been invited to that. And when I'm in those places, I'm nervous now because I don't know what's in the food, right? So it's like this minefield. By the time I get home, I'm happy to be home because at least at home I know the things that are going to keep me safe. So then I get in this rut of just wanting to stay at home and literally not venture out because at home I can manage things. And then when we went on this getaway and I was just like in nature and just, it was literally like an hour and a half drive away, but we're already in the countryside. We're already like immersed and I'm not looking at a screen. I switched off my phone completely. That was huge. That gave me back some energy. It just changed my mindset. I came back and I'm still like feeling so good from that few days of just enjoying life, because when you have an autoimmune, you're so stuck on your maybe not feeling good all the time or struggling through life or struggling through the managing of the symptoms every day, that you forget to enjoy yourself. That's the thing. And even me who loves to find pockets of enjoying myself, I really, really, really get sucked into work and just not feeling good or feeling exhausted and not doing things that I enjoy. So find those pockets where you can enjoy yourself so that you don't get stuck in that, because it's good for your mental health. Your mind feels good, your body feels good. Literally.
yes.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
So
I agree. Strong body, strong mind. So yeah, it's good to focus on taking a break, and especially if you can, even if it's like a staycation, somewhere near the area, go explore, get out. Bless you.
It's a sneezing episode today.
Yeah, I started the podcast. Well, we weren't recording quite yet, but I was like having a sneeze attack.
Oh, right. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Well, it was so nice chatting and doing this episode. I hope if you guys are listening, you got a lot of good, useful information. Leave comments. Let us know what you liked, or maybe there's something you want to know more about and you want us to talk a little deeper into a certain subject. So yeah, comment below, like, and subscribe.
That is the end of this week's Thyroid Sisters Navigate Graves' Disease podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you found it useful and enjoyable. Please do follow and subscribe to our podcast so that you are the first to hear about new episodes.
And if you're enjoying them, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this will help us so much. The bigger the show gets, the bigger the awareness raised.
You can find us on social media using the handle @lovingmekindly and also the handle @healing_unapologetically. Until next time.